You are now listening to Asking for a Friend with TalkDoc, sharing insights through real, honest, and practical ways to improve your communication and relationships. Featuring your hosts, Dr. Pamela Kreiser, Meredith Edwards-Nagel, and Teighlor Polendo.
Welcome back to our last episode of our Family Survival Kit for the holidays. I am Dr. Pamela Kreiser, and I'm here with Meredith Edwards-Nagel and Teighlor Polendo, and together we do the podcast Asking for a Friend with TalkDoc. And what we want to talk about today is kind of our wrap-up for this Family Survival Kit. We've been thinking about the whole year in review, like a lot of you have. Maybe you're starting to think about New Year's resolutions. And one of the things that we have really come to feel is how thankful we are that you've been listening to us and supporting our podcast effort, because we just started in February and it's been a great run so far. So I'm going to start by saying I'm thankful for each of you.
Ditto.
And we're thankful that we have such great supporters, which we'll get to later as we start talking a little bit more about what we're thankful for. But as we approach the holidays, at this very last home stretch of the holidays, we're thinking about what we're thankful for. And one of the main things that we truly appreciate are the guests that we were able to have on this year. And so we had 6 different guests, if you've been listening to our series, and we're going to actually think about those episodes with you and kind of review, as we take stock of the year, of what wisdom those individuals gave us. And so we're excited to kind of count our blessings with you and think about the wisdom that they've shared with us. So our first guest was Katie Masters. And you guys remember Katie?
Oh yeah, nail thoughts.
Yeah. That's right. And she was in episode 8, and that was our early ambition to have a guest. I think Katie taught us how to have guests.
Yeah,
actually, she gave us some nice pointers about her other podcast experiences. How to improve, yeah. So shout out to you, Katie, and to I'm so thankful that we had Katie on. And I hope that you'll listen to her episode. So just to remind you, Katie is the founder of Nail Thoughts. And Katie's dramatic moves even came in the pandemic, where she was able to still extend her business, even with a closed salon, which is kind of a crazy thing. So we were able to interview her and ask her about her wisdom. And she said 2 things that were profound for me. One of them was when she said it's serving who it's serving, when she talked about the nail business that she does, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I was thinking about was when she started talking about that, she said a second thing, which is you can't really spend any time on comparing where you fall versus what everyone else is doing. And it was a great refresher for me to kind of think about that related to our podcast, because this was pretty early in our journey. You know, we've done 30 episodes since then, I think. Mm-hmm. And what I was listening from her was this advice that I didn't know we were going to need
totally
as we were building the podcast. So do we worry about what other podcasts are doing? No. It's serving who it's serving. And thanking Katie for that piece of advice. And the advice to all of us that when you and I engage in comparison, it is tough business. One of the things she said, I remember her saying, so comparison in business is deadly. And she said, no, comparison is deadly. And what her point was, is it doesn't matter what category it's in. And I thought that's an interesting thing to kind of take from the year and say, let's lower our comparisons with other people, and let's start reminding ourselves that what we're doing in our lane is enough. So that's our first guest.
Thank you,
Katie.
Mm-hmm. Katie, you rocked.
Yeah.
Next we had SHARDASIA, who I think we fell in love with her.
Yeah.
In the light.
Her
that's right.
Company. Yeah. It was fun to connect with a former student of yours.
Yes.
Relate to all our PTSD.
Wow, thanks.
I'm kidding, we love you.
That's fascinating.
Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Katie's a former student too, so lots of trouble there.
But she was in our series on forgiveness, and first go listen to it, because if you haven't, very important stuff. But if we look back on her episode, she was talking about her journey, because she said it's not like an end destination, it's a journey of forgiveness with her and her father, who's been incarcerated, I think, since the day she was born.
right
like
around,
something right like her whole life.
Yeah.
And what a journey that was. But the nugget I really took, she had so much gold in that episode. The nugget I walked away with was, I think people around her, maybe a friend, was saying, you know, it's a lot of work and it can be really hard. And what if it just goes really bad? And she's like, but what if it goes good? And that's it right there. Like, what if it goes good? You can take that literally to anything in life. But what if it goes good? And it reminds me of a part of our vows that my husband and I said, basically, like, you know, marriages, relationships can end. They can go really poorly. But it's kind of believing in the best possible outcome. And I think that's what I took from her is, like, you can do it in anything. It's a journey, but what if it goes good?
She was incredible.
She really was.
Yeah.
And I think that seemed more powerful coming from her mouth. Because here she has this big giant thing she's doing to reconcile. And her attitude is that positive.
Yeah.
Like, incredible.
And just how much work it really is to do. She kind of said that she thought she forgave her dad because she said, oh, I forgive you. But it was such a journey, and to do the work is difficult, but she'll let you know how to do it in that episode.
Yeah, definitely listen to that one. Next up was Molly, the NFL agent. The badass, kick-ass.
Oh, yeah, badassery.
Just, if you want someone on your team, you want Molly. If you want to be against someone, you better run. Just playing. She was really awesome. But I wrote down something that she said, which I want to give a tiny little backstory to, because she is an NFL agent. So when she's talking about the game, when I tell you what she said, she's speaking about really understanding the sport that she's working on with her clients. And I took this as an application with knowing a focus that you have, whether it's in communication with your family, going into the holidays like we've been talking about, or getting a new career, or in relationship, or just something in yourself that you're trying to manifest. She was really big on manifesting, which I enjoyed. But she said, if you don't understand the game, it's really hard to know where your player's skill set fits best. And I really liked that, because she was talking about how she could do this job that she does and know the numbers, know this, and that. But if she doesn't have a deep understanding for what the rest of the game needs, how she's supposed to show up there. And I was like, wow, like it made me want to step back and do my own planning and homework and preparation, if you haven't heard those words a million times. So I love the episode with her. And one other thing she did was, I think it was Teighlor asked her in the episode about, you know, how she manifests these things. And she talks about how she would look in the mirror and tell herself that she was that thing. And so whether it's like, I am in this career, or I am successful in this space, however you define success. So I've tried to learn from her and manifesting.
Like, she believed it before it even was true.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that this is happening.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that.
Badass lover.
Yeah.
Well, after Molly, we had Jamal. Jamal. I love Jamal. Jamal is a personal friend, and I'm very impressed with the work he does. But when he speaks, I feel like he'll say a statement, and my mind like explodes. I need to unpack it and take some time before I can truly like inhale it and breathe it out.
Yeah, it's a good way to say it. He's awesome. Yeah.
And like truly understand it. So he'll say something simple like, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And I'm like, wait, what is that?
I need 3 weeks
hold
to
on,
think
like,
about that.
And even going back and like re-listening to it a few more times, I'm like, I can keep learning from this. So the example he uses is we all stub our toe, and that sucks. It's like so painful.
Yeah.
And he says the world is over, and that's pain, and it's inevitable. But suffering is more of like a state of mind. And if you stub your toe and then it's the belief, what follows after that is sort of self-judgment on yourself. Why am I such a klutz? Why does this always happen to me? I can't even walk across a room without stubbing my toe. I'm such a failure. And it's this belief, this perpetuating belief of judgment on yourself, or I guess you could put it on someone else too. But that's the state of suffering, believing and living in that space. And so he walks us through how to get out of that. And so the pain in life, it will come and it passes, but how to get away from living in this mentality of perpetuating judgment on yourself. A lot of nuggets in that one.
A lot of insight.
Yeah, a lot of insight.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sort of like speaks in these phrases, like you said, that are things we have to go, I have to think about that.
Yeah.
Like I need 15 minutes to think about that, or 3 weeks. Or,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got a good car ride, pick his podcast.
Yeah. That was a great episode. So after we had him on, we began our boundaries series. You've heard us refer to that a few times. And so just to remind you, we have 5, well, actually, I'm going to tell you a story. So I thought it would be cool to have 2 episodes on boundaries.
Yeah.
And so we started writing the previews for that. And then it became a 3-part series. Then we decided that because many of you have reached out and asked us to cover gaslighting as a topic, we invited STACI Ross to come on to do that 4th episode. And what was really fun about taping that with STACI was that after it concluded and STACI left, these 2 turned to me and said, you cannot cut any part of that. We need to have 5 episodes if you can't cut it.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And
Yeah.
I hope we get her back again because
Yeah.
she is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what STACI helped us think about was the topic of gaslighting, starting, and these are episodes 23 and 24. So if you want to check them out, definitely check out the whole Boundaries series, especially those gaslighting episodes. But one of the things that we learned from her is what gaslighting isn't, and that was really helpful because it's thrown around a lot as a topic. We brought her on as an expert, but someone who has personal experience with it, as well as her expertise in psychology. And she had a few different things to say, but one of the things that she talked about was just boundaries in general. She said you have to have clear boundaries, and you have to adhere to them, and was kind of encouraging us to say you have to draw some lines in this space of gaslighting and decide what those boundaries are. So that's one, and then the other quote's too long. Can't cheat. I have to put my glasses on. Okay, and says, I heard that laugh. We can have compassion for someone having a tough upbringing, but we don't have to be the recipient of their bad behavior. And I thought that was interesting. One, we can have compassion, right? That somebody had an experience like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then but we don't, that doesn't mean that they get to act however they want toward us. And so part of what's interesting about that series, in my mind, is kind of understanding boundaries a little better and saying, okay, so as we think about boundaries, we're thinking about what's our responsibility versus not. And then we're also thinking about what behavior is okay for me or not.
Yeah.
And what might be okay for you might be different than what's okay for you. And that's okay, but we have to actually get into that space and figure out what that is. And her helping us understand what the gaslighting behaviors are, and then also to understand some ways to say that actually isn't going to work for me.
Yeah.
So check it out.
She's another badass.
She really is.
True.
We all
True.
have a crush on her.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, next up, we had Jason Harper, the former president of Southern California Mediators Association, and my ultimate badass. That's how I'm ending the year. Just
Your mentor.
Yeah. 100%. Amazing guy. Also was a professor at the law school I attended. And I am trying to really pick, even up until this moment, the nuggets of things that he said to us.
She has like 4 note
I do.
cards.
I do.
She couldn't narrow it down.
It was really hard. Anyway, I'm going to pick 2 that really stuck out to me. One is that he said, conflict is going to happen. We can take the pressure off, which was really nice, like just breath. Like we're trying to get into these subjects of communication, and that his was conflict resolution, and okay, how do we fight this thing or whatever, but he was just like, take the pressure off. It's going to happen, right? So that was a nice breath of fresh air for me.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a great question. Again, I think it was Teighlor that asked during the interview.
Our student, what?
All right, I know.
Known for her great questions.
She wins less amount of quizzes than me, but we're going to give her it this time. I want to end the year right,
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Throw down.
Anyway, I can't be mean to you like that. I mean, I can, just
I
a
know
little
she
worse.
loves me. It's okay.
Okay, so he talks about when you're in conflict, how to listen for unmet needs. So I want to list what those are really quick, and then I want to read what he said about it. So the unmet needs, he says, are appreciation, how you feel valued, affiliation, how you feel part of something larger, autonomy, a sense of control, status, which he stresses that at a minimum you're treated the same as everyone else, and role, which is what you do has a lasting impact, no matter what it is, something that you do. And so the thing he said was to listen for unmet needs, to try to identify where a person is missing from a needs-based standpoint. So when we're in conflict or disagreement, when there's distance or difference, when there's bad behaviors at the table, all of that to me makes me, as I'm doing my preparing and having my little tidbits to prepare for those moments of tension, to remember to learn, take it as opportunities to learn how to listen for unmet needs. And also maybe as I'm having conflict, also listen to myself. Like what on those things? Where am I not feeling appreciated? Right. Affiliation, autonomy, status, or role, and how can I check myself too? So
yeah, that's really good. I loved that unmet needs section, and part of what I loved about it was the focus on the other party. Not saying, oh, I'm not getting mine, or you're not being respectful to me. It's like taking the point of view and saying, let's start with the other party and what they're missing. And I just love that sacrifice there.
Yeah, well, he mentioned too in that episode that often in high conflict or high tension, we go back to our base, which is not preparing and just kind of like it's reaction rather than being proactive. And so this is a way to go, okay, I'm in conflict. What about this person's needs are not being met? And learning how to kind of talk to someone in that way.
Yeah. So thankful for our guests.
I know.
Like, honestly.
I know. We're such a lucky group to have those 6 for our first year.
I know.
So thank you. If you're one of those 6, thank you again for joining us and for being sources of wisdom for us. It was interesting because I don't know that we brought any of you 6 on for that reason, but that's what we ended up with.
Yeah.
We just brought you because we thought you'd be interesting.
We're just like,
and then you hit us with this giant truth, and we're like, oh, wow, okay. I'll have to think about that for a year,
I know.
But as you're kind of thinking through those episodes and just the wisdom that other people have given you this year, we want to encourage you going into 2022 to listen to some of those episodes and the wisdom that they've shared with us. And to the extent that we can, help you think about communication, you're planning your communication with your family or the different things coming in 2022, we're excited about to do that journey with you. So I do want to give a couple shout outs, and that is to our significant others. So to Ralph, who we call the Podfather, to Tommy, and to Pete for all of their work on supporting us from every kind of job. We appreciate you, right? Whether that was setting up camera equipment or lighting or buying us a pizza.
This has been a year of team effort.
we have all been a team.
Talented.
So we're very thankful for all of them. Of course, we're thankful for all of you. And so we have a giveaway that we're going to announce. Now, you might have noticed these fancy little coffee cups that we have. And so, you gotta look. Wait, show the other side.
I already did.
Oh,
You did.
Is it coffee? Is it not coffee?
Hashtag not coffee. I think it
coffee.
is not coffee. So we have a giveaway, and that is a giveaway we're going to do now through the end of January. A giveaway to the top 3 who submit a story to us about your family survival kit stories.
Yeah, how you used one of these parts of a series.
Or if it's just really funny.
Or a funny story.
I'll probably pick that.
We're doing 3 because we each get to pick a story. So.
That's right.
And you were going to tell us, Teighlor, how to submit it? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. How do we submit it?
Let us know. You can send it to us, tag us on Instagram, afaf.podcast, or send us it in an email, hello@afafpodcast.com.
One more time with that email.
hello@afafpodcast.com.
Beautiful. I love it.
You might have heard her say that before. So,
well, and what you're going to get?
What you're going to get is one of these.
This is what you get. You get a mug. Will it have a picture of us on the back? Will it not? You'll just have to find out.
It really better not.
Or just me.
Or just Meredith's picture. That's right. So definitely submit to hello@afafpodcast.com.
I like this one. Keep it going.
Keep it going. Definitely submit to hello@afafpodcast.com or tag us on Insta. And we'll look forward to seeing you all in the new year and to grow together. So with that said, we are excited to go into 2022 with you, and we're excited to see ways that you'll grow And we're excited to find out ways that we'll grow. So
let's do it together.
We'll see you then.
Once again, thank you for joining us today. Please remember to rate, share, and subscribe to our podcast. And thank you for listening to Asking for a Friend.
Let us know what you thought of the episode. Our email is hello@afafpodcast.com. This show is for educational purposes only and is copyrighted. Written permission must be granted before syndication or rebroadcasting. Thanks for listening to Asking for a Friend with TalkDoc.